Welcome, Aries. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot getting ready to do a new moon in Leo reading for you that I've titled Affirming Life. And what is featured during this full moon is its opposition, the sun and the moon conjoined in Leo, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. This is about issues of control and power, and asking you to allow yourself to surrender to what you can't control and to simplify and trust what you know to be who you are. I'm going to read the overall energy, the Six of Cups, which is featuring on a soul bond, a soul connection. This can not only be an individual, but this can also be an event, a passion, something that is a talent or a particular skill of yours that you are looking to enjoy again at some fundamental level as a kind of acceptance of this talent as being an irrevocable part of who you are. The expression of it is necessary for you. And underneath the deck, the devil is describing a relationship, I believe, that you want to embark upon a project, a new journey, a new activity, some creative activity, and you're aware that there are unhealthy patterns and habits, routines that you and a loved one, someone you're deeply connected with over a long period of time, still have to work through in order to allow yourselves to express yourselves at a maximal level, at a greater, higher frequency that is representative of the best that you offer in relationship with one another. Let me pull a crystal oracle card to get us started. And this deck is rather cold here. Out comes the moonstone, and the key word is cycles. I like this very much because the new moon is the beginning of a cycle. But these cycles exist within cycles. So I do believe that you are having an opportunity to really look at this fresh start at the end of July. On the 24th is when the new moon becomes exact. I am in the divine flow of my soul's rhythms and life cycles. So we'll take that under advisement at this time. I'm wanting to remind you that this is a general reading. It isn't going to resonate for all of you. If you're interested in a personal reading, information for that is in the description box below. However, if you find yourself resonating with this reading at any time, please like this video, please share it with others, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. It means a lot to me to be able to continue doing what I'm doing. And I appreciate your comments, your feedback, and especially your appreciations. They're wonderful. So let's get started with your 10th house energy. This is the way that others see you, the way you identify in the world, in your community. The Three of Jades is a very auspicious card indicating that you are indeed beginning a new project or partnership, as I mentioned earlier, with someone who you consider a deep soul bond. This can be a family member, a friend who is like a family member. This can be a child or a parent. It can be necessarily a romantic partner or spouse as well. This can be you as part of a collaborative team of experts who share your vision, who share your alignment. So the Three of Jades is you getting going on building something together, something that is going to be beautiful and excellent and is going to create a resource that is available to all. This is the goal of your project, your business, your activity. In the first house, the Ace of Jades is very auspicious for your attitude, your perspective going into this project, this collaboration that is deeply connected with your own talent, something that defines you, something that takes you into a place of confidence, courage, and passion. However, the real opportunity here is to know when to control and when to surrender. So there is a tendency you may have experienced in life. You may be fully aware of micromanaging projects, micromanaging, over-directing individuals with whom you work or that work for you or with you in some capacity. There's the desire to have everything go your way. And you realize at this point in your life, in your healing journey, the limitations of such a perspective. It is not a partnership if you're the one calling the shots and you're embarking upon this journey with an approach to build something beyond your own limitations, to lend your expertise to a greater vision and a capacity, a vision that can only come about through the joined and collaborative, collective experience of others with whom you work. And the fourth house is the Lord of Staffs, another card that absolutely is one of your cards, Aries. So you're showing up with a lot of energy here, which is appropriate for a new moon in Libra. In Leo. This is you in your foundation, really building upon your strengths. And I think as you seek to surrender those aspects of your own control by working in a collaboration, by working in a non-hierarchical environment, you are aware that you do this as a point of your vision, your goal, your understanding that your strengths can best be utilized and leveraged among a group of peers, among a group of those you share a vision with. So you're standing on what you know to be true for you. And this is important as we surrender to the opportunities that we have placed before ourselves. You recognize this growth, this teaming up with people that you have great compatibility with and compassion for. It's reciprocal, is an opportunity for you to grow and express yourself in ways that you cannot do on your own. In the seventh house, the house of significant partnerships, we have the Fool card. This is quite beautiful and really takes me to the idea that you understand that it is less the destination that is critical in this new project. One you're deeply excited about, you're compassionate about, you're excited, you're exuberant, you're over the moon by the possibilities, and yet ultimately you know it is the journey that you are setting out consciously on moving towards your goal in a way that represents your growth, your learning, your willingness to learn and be open. You're surrendering to the journey as opposed to fixing a goal at the end of each and every meeting or milestone that you cover. This is really strong energy. I'm going to clarify, starting with the Ace of Jades in the first house, the Judgment card in the second house, and the Four of Pentacles in the third house. There's some determination you've made, decisions you've made about this new beginning. You're open, I believe, to the prospect of making money in a way that perhaps you haven't been before. Perhaps you have seen the particular goal of your efforts, the service you provide, as being excellent, as being accessible, as goals, but at this point you are not removing yourself from those very valid goals that express your integrity, but you are open to the idea that abundance, wealth, even prosperity are natural benefits, byproducts of your this adventure into the new 3D world. You're manifesting something that is a tangible resource for others. It doesn't mean that it is not technologically engaged. In fact, for many of you, it absolutely is, as it is for most of us. This is the age we live on. This is a tool we can use to develop larger audiences, to communicate more efficiently with others. And you're completely aware that this lifts your former attempts at something into a new place of access, availability, wider distribution, and potential financial rewards. So this is something you're open to. And I do feel like this is a stretch for many of you, no matter how much money you have or don't have, and no matter how much money your family of origin had, you grew up understanding that it was important, it was critical that you live frugally. It's the way your ancestors grew up. You are not comfortable spending money on things that give no evidence. You could even be considered tight by some, which does not mean that you are not comfortable or abundant in some significant way, but your way of looking at money is very limited, and you are seeking, as part of this growth and entering into this collaboration with others, to expand on your idea of prosperity, understanding that creating a resource in and of itself is part of a gift that you are privileged enough to be able to build, to create for others. In the fourth house, the Lord of Staffs is clarified by the Queen of Swords in the fifth house and the Magician in the sixth house. This is lovely. So the Queen of Swords is absolutely that part of you that is very frugal, and that frugality translates in your mind and usually manifest as practical, not excessive, but understanding the value of quality. And so this is a great tool, skill with which you can open up to the ideas of others. You can facilitate conversations about ways forward. You're flexible in terms of changing your plans or pivoting on new information. This is essential for your desire to expand upon your strengths, your talents, your ability to be passionate, to stay the course, to never give up, to pioneer into areas that have not been tread well before you. And the Magician shows you really understanding how to create the best journey possible for yourself. So this is really a beautiful awareness of your own healing, the ability that you understand how to rein in control of the things that you are used to acting upon, having your way, stating your point of view, undercutting or undermining the opinions of others when you are convinced that you are right. These are things that you understand need negotiation from your end. Your expression of ideas is more advantageous when leveraged as a conversation or a question or an inquiry, something that reflects your curiosity rather than your attachment to one perspective or another, attachment to one way of doing things or another. So you're really understanding the tools you have, you've always had, but now you've become a lot more adept and strategic about how to use them so that you're setting yourself and your team up to be productive and efficient. So this again feeds into the idea that you're aware that the goals are wonderful. They feel like they are filling you with a sense of your own empowerment. However, it is the journey. It's less important to achieve these things if you make enemies or alienate your allies along the way. If you waste resources, if you don't pre-plan or don't do your research, these are things that your understanding will help you and your team to be more efficient and create a more enjoyable process, routine, habits, structures to this relationship, this project that are allowing you to live in your bliss. In the seventh house, the Fool card is clarified by the Ten of Wands in the eighth house and let's say the Six of Swords in the ninth house. So you have really looked more and more critically at the role that you customarily have played in your collaborations, your team efforts. You recognize that you're willing to take on the responsibility, but that means that things are done in your own way. And you are really aware, you're dropping this idea that if you foot the bill, that you can arrange things to your liking or your comfort. You're really releasing some of that aspect of control and realizing that it is more equitable and probably more sustainable to allow others to step up to their area of responsibility and obligation that suits them and to share that burden among you. You'll survive longer. You'll not exhaust yourself physically because there's a real danger here in starting a new project, a new business, a new effort, and the work that is required to get it up and off the ground. This can take years of dedicated, disciplined, hard work and focus. And in order to sustain your commitment, you are committed. You must release ways that you've worked before in order to have control. So part of your test here, this is a test that you're applying to yourself. Nobody is applying this to you, but you realize that you are spiritually in a place of recovery. And this is recovery from the habits that were imbued or conditioned by your family of origin, your social or cultural milieu, wherever you learn the rules that you have tried to oppose or conform to, whatever the story is. You understand that those rules aren't yours. They don't have to be yours. There's no pushing back or resisting something that isn't yours to begin with. And you're beginning to understand that and allow yourself to accept the challenges that have gotten you to where you are, accept the lessons that you are learning, and to find peace with the situation as part of restoring your own sense of confidence, the ability to move forward in the healing way that is your intention. The Three of Jades in the 10th house is clarified by the Justice card in the 11th house. That's beautiful. And the Ace of Pentacles again in the 12th house. So we begin as we end. The Ace of Pentacles is back to how your perspective is being shaped, how you're beginning to understand the practical resources, opportunities, space, physical space that you can utilize and locate in order to open up this door of new ways of abundance, new ways of stability, of growth, of responsibility, new ways that you can redistribute the wealth that you're very aware is bottlenecked. And I do believe you feel some sense of responsibility for this blockage of resources, the flow of resources and goods throughout the world in a more just way. You have internalized that perhaps as a member of some kind of privilege that you understand has been built on the backs of efforts of others, reflecting in a microcosm perhaps the kind of colonial or the global imbalance that exists throughout the world of the haves and the have-nots, put very simply. So I do think that this time, this new moon in Leo, from the end of July throughout most of August, is giving you an opportunity to look at what abundance, what prosperity, what wealth, what enrichment means to you, and giving you new tools to surrender to the good works that you already have made, put into action with your team. I'm going to finish this reading with a seed and sickle oracle card, and I hope that you've gained some insight throughout this time. A couple fell out, and I'm going to just take what's on top here. We have the mandrake. Number 50 or 5 might be important to you. 5 is the card of the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is about how we teach. And in many ways, depending on where you are in life, how you teach is the way that you learn. And so it does occur to me now that you realize that it is your time to learn, to put in place the lessons that you've learned as a way of coming to a different outcome, a desired outcome that may have eluded you in the past. Not only do the roots of the mandrake grow in the form of a human, but there are also many tales of this little familiar taking on a life of its own and dispensing knowledge, wealth, and even visions of the future. You may not have a personal mandragora to point the way, but there are other signs and sources of guidance in your life leading you forwards. Keep your eyes peeled for these little prophets throughout the next few days. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this content, check out more content here. And until next time, namaste.